You're listening to the Last Man In podcast. Covering Winnipeg hockey and the NHL.
Scheifele dances his way in. Scheifele scores! Mike Wheeler finds the far corner. And the Winnipeg Jets win it in overtime. Woo, woo, woo.
Welcome back, Last Minute Podcast, episode 196. For the first time in their history, the Winnipeg Jets / Atlanta Thrasher franchise is playing in Game 7.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Ever?
They got swept twice, went to Game 5 against Minnesota, first ever Game 7.
Oh, so you should probably preface that. They lost Game 6 last night.
Yeah.
So they played their first ever Game 6.
Yeah. They're 0-1.
They skipped Game 6. They're only 7 now. That's
they're 0-1 in Game 6s. They're 1-0 in Game 5s. Or 2-0 in Game 5s now.
It's not so bad.
Not so bad.
It's all right.
Because percentages are on your side. Normally the team in a 2-2 tie that wins the 2-2 series tie that wins Game 5 normally wins the series. Percentages are like 77 or 80%.
It's a big percentage.
Yeah. Well, lots to talk about today. Obviously, Jets, Predators Game 6 and Game 5. We'll talk about the Caps Penn series, Tampa Bay Boston, and the antics of Brad Marchand continue. And then lastly, talk about San Jose, Las Vegas, as the Cinderella story continues.
Yeah, the Sharks get to go golfing again. It's sweet. It's their Cinderella story every year.
And Joe Thornton has no knees.
Oh,
MCL and ACL. On like both knees or something like that.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
Is it both knees?
I think
Is that
the
why he
one
didn't
from
play?
one injury was from his injury last year was both ACL and MCL, and then the one from this year is the other knee. I just saw a picture.
MCL and ACL.
Yeah.
He doesn't have knees. It's okay. Leafs will throw like $8 million at him next year for some reason. I don't know why. Either way.
He's no Sean Couturier, and
Yeah,
Sean
this year
Couturier
he-
would have played.
You're right.
No, that's stupid. Don't play on injury.
This year it was his right knee. Last year was his left knee. Both MCL and ACL.
Okay.
And he didn't have him fixed?
No, he got the ACL, MCL fixed last year after the playoffs. And then got this one, I guess he's getting it fixed after the playoffs.
Oh, and he's what, like 40?
Yeah. He's 38.
38, 39.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so let's start where we left off last week, where Dan and I were talking about the prospect of the Jets going up 3-1 in the series. However, that didn't happen. They lost to Nashville. Final was... I'm looking at you, Ken.
Oh, Game 4?
Game 4.
2-1.
2-1 final?
Yeah, was that?
Yeah, with a
Showdown?
late goal by Line to make it
Yeah.
2-1. Yeah.
Because as Matt mentioned
Yeah.
right before we started the show. Oh, wait. Hold on. We're on a boat. There's three life coats. Okay? Dan was on the boat.
Okay, we threw him over?
Threw him over.
Okay.
Now we're doing the podcast. We're in the Amazon. Anyways, I
Why-
do it
why-
every time you're gone, so I have to do it now that you're here. Yeah, because Dan got mad at me last time we recorded. He's like, why do we do this every time Greg's not here? What don't you do with Greg here? It's just, Matt started it a while ago. He's like, all right, we're on an airplane. And there's like, we're going down. There's only 3 parachutes. Greg said, no, I know how to man a plane. You go. We jumped off and saved ourselves, and Greg crashed the plane. He doesn't know how to fly a plane. So anyways, as Matt mentioned before, Nashville decided once they score a goal, they're going to play some Phoenix Coyotes, Tampa Bay of 2012, I think.
New Jersey Devils of the 2004.
Yeah, some trap hockey.
So the 1-3-1 has reared its ugly head again. However, you can beat it. You just need to skate a lot.
Well,
That's the thing.
It's not just that; it's how good their defensemen are too. Like let's talk like their top 4D. Like even if you are skating really fast,
Yeah.
they're really fast too.
Well, that's the thing is you can't against a 1-3-1. You can't carry the puck in. You have to dump. So you can't really run a 2-2 like a 2-1-2 forecheck. You almost have to run a 3-2 forecheck, which makes the Jets makes the Jets vulnerable to odd man rushes going the other way because you're having 3 guys down low deep trying to pressure to get that puck exposed. And like I'm not an NHL coach by any means, but there has to be a way to break through that if you're down a goal, because obviously Nashville saw what happened in Game 3 where they were up 3-0, fell apart, lost the game 7-4. They didn't want a repeat of that, and so they get up a goal. They play a defensive system that the Jets just couldn't break. Beat the Jets 2-1. Pecorine was very good. And the ability of the Nashville Predators just, I think you kind of see maybe more maturity from them. I don't know what it is, but they can come through in those situations where it's a 2-0 hockey game. They're going to close that game out in the third period.
I agree.
And that could be experience as well. So
I was also talking about this. How much, they went to the Stanley Cup Finals just last year, but how much adversity did they face? They were in one elimination game. All playoffs last year.
They also won their first ever Game 7 in their team's history last year.
Oh, to get there.
Well, they beat Anaheim.
Was it Game 7?
Definitely.
I think that was 2 years ago. Either way, they've...
Oh, whoa.
Because, so they swept the Hawks in round 1. Then they played...
Oh, God.
Then they played the Blues? They played the Blues. They beat the Blues handily.
Yeah.
Then they played against the Ducks. Yeah, they didn't really have a tough road. But they also, who did Pittsburgh play?
Last year? Well, they had the Caps in the second round, because that's always a thing.
Death, taxes, Pens, and Caps.
The Pens played Columbus in the first.
But they...
And then in the third, who'd they play? They would have played...
They played against Ottawa.
Yes,
And
right.
were one goal away from losing that series to the Ottawa Senators, who are nowhere near the playoffs.
And getting rid of the star player and
Yeah.
captain. For a legend.
And did not win the draft lottery and finished with the second worst record in the NHL. So, things happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. You could argue their path to the finals wasn't hard, but you still needed to play 20 extra games, so you're playing 100 games, and then you're coming back another year doing the same thing again.
Oh no, I agree that it's all said and good, but I'm just saying when they were saying we've been in this situation before, we'll be fine. Well, the year before they weren't in that situation, but one time, and the one time they didn't pull through. Yeah. Is all I was saying.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Well, exactly. It's not like they have an abundance of experience where it's we've been in conference final after conference final, we've been in the Stanley Cup Finals. We know how to come back from being down in a series. That's very few teams have that consistency to be able to come back when the chips are down. Obviously, PK Subban guaranteed a win after their loss in Game 5, which what you saw in Game 5 was the Jets getting out front and just continuing the pressure.
As soon as you get out front against a trap, they can't play the trap anymore because they're not generating any offense.
Mm-hmm. So then you just saw what the series, Game 5 was what the series was supposed to be, which is fast-paced, back and forth, and the Jets will win in that type. In a shootout, the Jets are going to win as long as Hellebuck stands tall, right? And he was good in Game 5. They won 4-0? 5?
In Game 5, it was 6-2.
6-2.
Yeah.
Okay. It was a late one. These 8:30 starts are just...
Oh, they're over. They're done with.
Yeah, I know. For now.
You know how I was exhausted coming home from the game yesterday? Because, it's 11:30 and you're, just crawling through traffic because so many people are there.
Well, and you have everybody in the downtown party.
Which is 25,000 last night.
And
another 15 at the game.
It probably would have been worse because I'm sure a couple of people from the street party left because I knew there was a couple of people left the arena early. Not a whole lot of people, but quite a bit of people.
You're going to have that, though, anyways.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But if they would have been winning, no one would have left.
No.
It's not PPG paints. There's a rule that if the Penguins are up by 2 or more goals with 10 minutes left, you just leave. Yeah, you just leave. You're they got this. It's fine. There's no excitement. With the Jets, you're we just won another series. This doesn't happen to us all the time. So, yeah, Game 6 happened. I didn't see any of it. You were there. I don't know.
It was boring.
Okay.
It's the same stuff. Nashville gets it, flips it out, and then kind of tries to go on the attack that way. It was...
Well, the reason they started the trap was because they scored, a minute and a half into the game?
Yeah.
Off of Victor Robertson was falling. and just kind of put his stick up, but
Yeah.
it was below the crossbar, so he tipped it, and it went
Five
hole, I think, on Hellebuck. And the original call in the US was no goal. Toronto overturned it and said no, good goal.
Big surprise. Toronto doesn't want
Yeah.
the Jets. No.
No, you know what I heard?
But similar script, honestly, to the way Game 4 was. Early goal, Jets could not come back because of the trap. So it's very imperative and it's very important that the Jets start on time. They start with speed and they get that first goal of the game.
Yeah, because it changes the complexion of the game.
Exactly. You're going to be in Nashville. Chances are, if you fall down in Nashville, which I guess they would have done in Game 2.
Game and 5. 5 they were down 2-1.
They were down 2-1?
Yeah.
Okay. So, either way, no. Were they down 2-1?
They were down at one point.
Yeah, because
they just started pouring it on.
Weber
Right.
scored and then Joe.
No, it was we scored first. I'm
Yeah.
sure.
And then they got 2.
And they got 2 right away.
Yeah.
Okay. Either way. I was just thinking about that. That's all. So,
Going into Game 7.
yeah, going into Game 7, they just need to start on time. They need to have a quick start, and they need to get that first goal. And what they'll need to do is they'll need to have all 4 lines going. Have Matt Hendricks not in the lineup. I don't think he was in the lineup yesterday.
No, he hasn't been in the lineup
Okay.
since Pro's been back.
Since Pro's been back. You can, your line matching simply just needs to be what they've been for the majority of the season in the playoffs. Keep Connor with Wheeler and Scheifele. You keep Ehlers with Laine and Stasny. You have Brian Little play with Perreault and is it Armia? Then you keep Kopp, Tanev, and Lowry together.
We were actually going off track here, me and Cam today. Well, I was. And instead of doing the top 6, sure, bottom 6, that little Lowry and Tanev line was dynamite when they were together.
Okay.
Put them together, see if anything happens, and then put Kopp with Armia and Perreault. Why not?
Perreault, yeah. Well,
give it a shot.
Anything, right? The one thing I don't want to see is them trying to put Perreault in the top 6 because that's been tinkered with and it does not work. It's not a matchup that works. The other
he
thing,
was there last night, wasn't
Yeah,
he?
he was.
he was in the top 6 last night.
He was playing with Laine and Stastny.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
You know what? I understand why they do that because Stastny and Perreault are really good down low. So then you kind of have just Laine floating around, just trying to get that shot off instead of going down low and trying to get the puck. So
It is.
I don't mind it, but
Yeah. So I've got some other stuff to say, but one of the biggest things I've noticed, and they've talked about this, I've been following a lot of guys on Twitter. What they're saying is the Myers-Sherratt pairing is getting absolutely beaten up. They're getting more ice time, and they're getting absolutely beaten up. And Trouba and Morrissey have been dynamite 5-on-5, which makes no sense why they're getting less ice time.
because they're trying to match up that line against the Jofa line, and the Jofa line isn't getting a lot of time either. They only played 14 minutes last game, so
And
the only time
Forsberg scored an unbelievable goal.
Yeah.
Between legs.
the only time you see Trouba and Morrissey out there is when that top line's out there because they don't want because Laviolette's all crazy with his when his lines go out, which is totally fine because then you're getting the matchups you want. So that's why I think Maurice is doing that. It's just these two guys because our bottom 4 Buff and Enstrom and Myers and Schrott, it's a pretty good bottom 4. So I think they're just playing a lot of minutes because they can, and then just you guys shut down the top line, and we should take this series. Is I think what Paul Maurice is trying to do.
Yeah, and I get that, but maybe sometimes you just need to throw matchups out the window and say we just have to put our best players out there, regardless who it's against. Because if you want to win the series, there has to be a moment where you're like, I'm going to just throw matchups out the window. Because when you try to play the matchup game, you end up losing.
I agree.
Toronto tried to do it against Boston. Boston tried to do it against Tampa Bay. You end up losing. Because you end up missing the bigger picture, which normally means if there's a line, if you're losing games, you're losing the matchup game. So there has to be a change somewhere at one point. You look, one of the biggest things, and I want to touch on it with the Boston series, but with both when Boston played Toronto and when Boston played Tampa, you look at whose lines were successful. It was not the team's top line. So it wasn't Matthews, Nylander, Hyman. It was not Stamkos, Kucherov, and Miller. It was Braden Point, Tyler Johnson, and Platt. It was Marner, whoever else they had with Marlowe and Kadri most of the time. But for one game, it was Nylander. Regardless of that, that second unit was destroying against the second unit of Boston because they're trying to play the matchup game to shut down one line instead of trying to spread your wealth across and say, okay, well, this line is doing really well. Why doesn't Chara go up against Braden Point? Even though the one time he did, Braden Point threw him off like he was a bad cold. But it was... Yet at some point, the guys who are hot in a series, you got to say, okay, Chara's our best bet. Let's throw him out there. Because that second unit for Boston was getting destroyed. In the same way that Myers and Sherrod are getting... I have no issue with either of those players, but they should not be your top minute getters. It does not matter. You put your best players on, regardless of matchups. You don't try to force the matchups. You let the other guy focus on that, and you just throw your guys out there when it's most convenient for you, not because you're trying to match up against that other line.
Well, I still don't think you want Myers and Sherrod out there against Johansson, Forsberg, and Arvidsson ever. Even if you're not trying to play that matchup game, you still don't want that at all.
You don't, but at the same time, you can manage that enough to not restrict your other top D and be like, you can't play. But what you're seeing is when Myers and Sherrod are normally out there, it's with the fourth line. Yeah. It was when Hendricks was the center of that fourth line too, when they were getting just beaten up a lot. So maybe you throw Trouba and Morrissey out a little bit more. I don't have all the answers. I am not in the NHL. But I think if you want to win this series and you want to beat a team that you were evenly matched up against, which I'm going to read some stats about in a second, you have to find a way to break through that, and you need to find a way to eventually win. And I think scoring the first goal is going to be huge, and if they do that, they can pretty much win off playing the matchup game, because I think once they get Nashville in a run and gun, they're the better team.
Pretty much whoever scores the first goal on Thursday, I think, is the winner.
Next goal wins type thing?
Pretty much.
So, Chris Johnson, at Reporter Chris on Twitter, tweeted, how close is this Winnipeg-Nashville series? Even strength shot attempts, 338 to 338. Even strength shots, 177 to 177. Even strength goals, 12 to 11 for Nashville. Even strength high danger chances, 66 to 65 for the Jets. But I also read that it was 66-66. So, they are at even strength. It is an even series. Period.
It's the two best teams going at it.
Well, exactly. So, and then he followed that tweet out by just saying it's going to be that one bounce that's going to determine the series. And whether that bounce comes a minute into the first period of Game 7 or it comes in the
third period
19th
of triple
minute.
overtime.
Exactly. Or third period of triple overtime?
Yes.
19th minute
There's
of triple
6
overtime.
overtimes.
There's 6 overtimes
Yes.
now. How great would that be? Just a marathon?
That would go into, well, it's starting at 7, so it would be 7.
No, it's 6 o'clock.
That's
Eastern.
3 hockey
Or
games.
6 o'clock our time. 7 o'clock.
7, I thought it was 6 Eastern. 7 our time.
Fine, either way.
No,
we'll say it's 7.
Eastern, 6 our time.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
What? Why'd they do that? That'd be 7.
Because they have to play into the Eastern bias.
This is bullshit. Let's all look it up
Either
and
way.
not talk.
No,
Yeah.
while one of you guys are looking up, I'm going to figure out if it went into 9 periods.
Oh, it is 7 p.m. our time, so it's 8 o'clock Eastern.
10, 1. That ended at 4 in the morning. Our time. Central time. 4 in the morning. If it went to
6
9
overtimes?
overtimes.
9 overtimes.
Well, no, like 9 periods,
9
6
periods.
overtimes. You know who the winner's going to be? I'm taking Scott Hartnell. For the
Well-
Preds, Scott Hartnell. For the Jets, Ben Sherratt off a clearing attempt. Off the stanchion.
Pecorino just sitting on his post falling
He's
asleep.
He slips and hits it in himself.
Shot 97 for the Winnipeg Jets from Ben Sherratt from his other end.
Yeah.
What a way to win it.
And on a stick breaking, too. The stick explodes and just takes off.
The Game 7 winner is off very rarely the beautiful goal. It's always the jam in front, random...
How dare you? The game or Game 7 or just the winner?
Just the winner.
Series winner.
Hold
Seriously.
on. We saw back-to-back identical goals. Alec Martinez from Jeff Carter both times, just right across, wide open. I was like, how is no covering him?
How about
They've been crossing the crease all night.
How about the Adam Henrique goal against the New York Rangers to clinch that series for
I
the
don't
New
remember
Jersey
that one.
for the New
I remember
Jersey
the
Devils?
celebration.
Yeah, it's a muck in front of the net. He's like,
Oh,
yeah.
Oh yeah, right, I do. And then he ran to the right corner. and jumped, and that was in New York. I
Yeah,
remember
it
that.
was.
Well, there's also the Patrick Hornqvist last year, banking it off Rene.
Yeah,
Well, and it was Hornqvist, which was even better because he used to be the Nashville Predator.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what made it great.
Unbelievable.
it's never a pretty goal. So it's the team that's ready to get down and dirty, and the Jets have the perfect guy to do it in Dustin Byfuglien, who's just like, I'm gonna take this game in my own hands, and this is why you get guys like him, and why you keep guys like him around. Dustin Byfuglien.
So
Game
you're
7.
you're taking Game 7 winner Dustin Byfuglien.
I'm just taking Game 7 Winnipeg Jets.
Okay,
Because
that's because you
I'm-
picked them.
Well, I'm babyface.
Okay, yeah, you've done your face turn.
Yeah, that's my face turn.
I'm sticking to the Preds.
Realistically, I don't.
Wait.
There's no loser for me.
This is the more important question.
Okay.
Who's singing the anthem? I took Faith Hill, Tim McGraw combo.
Ooh,
Yeah, I know. Matt, who you taking? Who you got?
I already
'Cause
said
they-
Zach Brown, so.
He said Zach Brown. They already busted out Carey. You don't bring her out twice in
so
one season.
yeah,
They can't
so
afford
you've done.
Carey.
They've done Dirks. They've done Carey. They've done.
Florida,
Lady
Georgia.
A. They did not do Florida, Georgia.
They haven't
Okay.
done. They're
Lady
not. What?
Lady
Lady
A.
A.
That
was the other one.
sucked. Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that one. That was a
Okay.
Watch that one.
that was terrible.
I'm trying to think of like.
Or do they go to the actual...
Does Jason
Bring it back.
Aldean just randomly show up?
He was there last game. Or 2 games ago. He was in the box. He wasn't singing, though.
You know who else was in a box yesterday?
You...
Taylor Solani.
Oh,
Sure.
dude, if Timey wants to show up to every elimination game for the Jets and then really help him out, I'm going to be okay with that. I'll front the money.
That was
to the
awesome,
box.
though.
Awesome to
They,
see, man.
yeah, they gave him a standing O, and then obviously.
Well, he
That's
was
pretty
really
cool.
good. He just had to wait for like young guys to come around, carry the team to the finals, and then piggyback off them to win a cup. But I mean, that's just my opinion. So
Your opinion is incorrect, but
it's
that's
not
fine.
incorrect. He had to wait for Corey Perry and Ryan Getzlaff to just come and help him slug that team.
Oh
on.
yeah. Oh, okay.
There you go.
'Cause-
Yeah. You know who didn't need to slug him? Phil Kessel, 2-time Cup champion.
You're
That's
right.
Mhm.
You're right.
He did it all by himself.
Hot take, Phil.
No one else on that team. All by himself.
And we'll get to Phil in a second.
Yeah.
But I want to.
Well, you have to pick your anthem singer.
I said Jason Aldean.
Oh, Jason Aldean. Okay.
So I want to move from the Finn that was in the box to the Finn that's on the ice for the Jets. He was in a suite. Move into the Finn that was on the ice.
Okay.
And Patrick Laine,
Oh, okay.
who
Well,
I
there's
think
multiple. There was also
Armia.
Pekka Rene's on the other
Yeah,
side
yeah.
too.
Let's
There's quite a
finish
few.
this thought. Am I right? Oh my god. Okay,
Either
so
way.
we got Laine.
he has been very much neutralized in this series. If they have any hope in winning, they have to get him going. And I don't know if the Preds are in his head, or if the Preds are just playing really good defense against him, if the Jets just can't find a way to get him engaged in the plays.
Injured.
That's what you're thinking?
He hasn't taken part of a full practice since.
Yeah.
They're always optional, though. They're always optional.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean
Doesn't
anything.
mean much.
Yeah, he might be injured.
I would
Because
take
he,
the
he
option.
never missed any of the not a lot of the optional skates all year. Now all of a sudden he's missing them.
Might be injured.
I had a friend of mine text me say, "Hot take. I think we should bench Patrick Laine for Game 7 because he's not." Is
this
I will
friend
not
you?
say, no,
Is
no,
this
no,
friend you?
no, it's
Because I
not.
feel like that'd be
I will
your
not
take.
say who the friend is. It's not me. It's not me.
Who is that
Is
guy
this-
that used to comment all the time?
Yeah.
On YouTube.
Cam.
Luke.
Luke.
Get out of here!
Was it Luke that texted you that?
yeah, it was Luke. No, but he was saying that, like, without a shot, his age is showing. He's really, like, he's not getting much going. He seems like he's frustrated. And he's like, why not put in a guy, like, I'm not saying, he didn't say this, but, like, he said, why not put in someone who can play the two-way game? And
Jack
it was-
Roslovic?
I would. I mean, I wouldn't, hold on. This is where I wouldn't do it. And I told Matt this morning. Why you don't do it is if they lose, hypothetically,
Yeah, you're the
Then
team
you're-
that benched.
you're
Laine.
answering that question for the next until you get there again. Like,
So, you play Laine regardless.
Yeah, definitely.
You monitor how he's played in his minutes. But I think what, if anything, what this playoffs have showed is it is tough to be a young player playing against veteran playoff teams and being able to succeed.
because they know how to pace themselves. They know
Yeah.
the ups and the downs.
Look at both 1 and 2 from that draft class. Like
Yeah,
Matthews
no,
struggled.
exactly. Against
Good
a very experienced
Bergeron.
top line.
Pasternak and Marchand, yeah, he's gonna struggle. Like, and then Laine, yeah, This is not been a great series, but
well, who's he facing off against? Is he facing off against Turris? Is he facing off the Turris line with?
it's either that line or the Benino line. But like that,
Either way,
they're going so much. I don't know how they're matching up.
either way, you're still playing against guys who've been there. They know their role. They're well coached. They want to be there.
And you bet your ass they know you're on the ice.
Exactly.
When Laine steps off the ice, or which pairing is shadowing him? The Ekholm one?
It would.
Oh no, it was Josie Ellis.
No, it would be Ekholm because the top line gets Josi and Ellis.
Yeah. So yeah, every time Laine steps on the ice, one of either Ekholm or Subban's on the ice right beside, within 10 feet of him the entire time.
If you watch their power play, they don't get more than 5 feet away from Laine. He is not getting that shot off. Like
they're eliminating one of their players and making it a 4-on-3 just so he doesn't get anything. And they trust they have a system intact that they trust their players enough to make it a 4-on-3. So,
I'll let them give Shifley that shot. He's gonna.
He's done it a bunch.
Yeah,
now,
exactly.
I saw one of them.
Game 7's in 2 days.
Because of Justin Timberlake, he has a concert at the Bridgestone Arena.
Is that why?
Yeah. I know. I was like, why isn't it on Wednesday? And then they're like, oh, Justin Timberlake's coming through
Maybe
town.
he sings the anthem.
Oh shit.
Oh! You changing it?
I'm changing it.
You're changing it? Dang.
Not to... Yeah. Although he might have a show the next night. Regardless. So Game 7, who you guys taking?
I got Preds.
Score?
3-1.
In my heart, I gotta say Winnipeg. I can't go against them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with
Score?
Five.
If it's...
5-3.
I was going to say, if it's Winnipeg winning, it's going to be more than 2
5-3
goals.
empty net.
4-3 overtime. Second overtime for the Winnipeg Jets.
You're going to do that to Dan?
Yeah.
You're going to kill Dan.
Nikolai
His blood
Ehlers
pressure is just like through the roof.
Nikolai Ehlers with the overtime winner.
On a breakaway.
Evgeny Kuznetsov style. Which brings us to the Pens Caps, where the Capitals slayed the Penguins, and they get to their first conference final since 1998.
Jesus.
20 years.
20 years.
How many President's Trophies in that time? I don't know.
4, probably.
If I was going to say, I think 4.
Jeez.
Regardless of that, Ovechkin and Kuznetsov, very much big parts of that.
That was that whole team.
I was going to say Stevenson was obviously the key factor in that game.
And Holtby playing really well.
Holtby's awake, I think.
Yeah.
Someone went into his cave and was like, "Psst, hey, it's playoff time, Braden." And he's like, "Rah!" Oh, God, damn it, he's awake now.
I think putting Grubauer in at the beginning of playoffs really gave him a
Lit a
kick in the
fire under
nuts.
his ass, yeah. Yeah, that was a discussion I was having yesterday with a couple of friends. They were saying that. Because I said, do you think they regret it all? And they're like, probably not, considering the fact that Holtby's playing so well. I'm like, yeah, you could throw those first 2 games away against Columbus, and then you've won 8 of your last 11 games.
Yeah.
And 4 of those wins were against last year's Stanley Cup champion. Reigning 2-time Stanley
Which is
Cup champion.
they're probably a better team this year than they were last year.
Yeah. And you know what's... Yeah.
They didn't have Letang last year.
They-
Brassard's a much better upgrade than
Bonino.
Yep.
And instead of having Malkin and Kessel together, they split them up. They had 4 lines with a superstar essentially.
And they
Yeah,
also
and then
had
Jake
another...
Gensel was just playing otherworldly.
And they
he was
also...
doing that last year too, really.
Yeah.
So
You know what? You know why they lost? Hot take. Because Matt Murray's in net and he's an average goalie. Boom, said it.
You've been saying this a while.
I know.
Yeah.
Why don't you... Why? What did Murray do to you?
He didn't do anything to me. I just think there was too much hype for him.
yeah, Stanley Cup winning goalies. They're just not good. Matt Murray sucks. Corey Crawford's awful too.
There it is. Yeah, I was like, who's the other guy
As soon
that
as
he
you win a
doesn't
Stanley Cup, Greg's like, not even that fucking good.
You know who's really good, though?
Freddie Anderson.
Niemi. That's a good one, yeah. You know who else was good? The goalie he had to play against, Michael Layton.
Hey, you take that back.
I
It was
will
Michael
not.
Layton, Brian Boucher, and the Ray of Sunshine, okay? There was all 3 of them. They all got a turn.
And Michael Layton stole it from them.
He's a monster. So what do you take away from this Caps Pen series, apart from Ovi? Did you see the interview with Pierre Maguire?
I didn't.
They were like, oh, what did you think when you passed it to Kuznetsov? He's like, just score. Please fucking store it. And he said it live on TV. And like he didn't mean it to like he was just so excited. He's like, it's so you could tell he's just
Well,
like, God, thank
his
you.
celebration, like Kuznetsov obviously celebrates, and like Ovechkin's like,
He
Yeah.
just jumped at him. He was
So
like,
happy.
we did it! Yeah! It doesn't even matter who they play. They don't even care what color. That doesn't matter who. They could be playing the Eastern Conference All-Star. They don't care.
I just
They
want that.
beat the
Like,
Penguins.
I'm sorry, like the 2009 the Eastern Conference semifinal that was the Washington Capitals Pittsburgh Penguins
The dual Natties.
was way more special than any of the last 3 years of Pens Caps.
Yeah. Okay.
Because every game was a fucking shootout.
Well, that and because there was something about it in its rarity and the fact that it couldn't happen as often. And I think the new playoff format has ruined these types of matchups because they've come to be expected. We expect this series to be great, so we have these high expectations. Whereas if this were to be a conference final, if this were to be a first round matchup or whatever it might be, it will spawn more spontaneity out of teams, and I think it'll be more of an impressive matchup because those moments that we should remember, the Kuznetsov goals, the way Ovechkin played, the way Crosby and Gensel played, those things should be highlighted. Instead, we continue to hammer down Pens Caps, where it should be highlighting the individual players on each team instead of being like, well, this is such a rivalry, where it really isn't.
I still think it's a rock. It's not as big as everyone hypes it up to be, but it's still
But
a
it should
rivalry.
be, is what he's like.
Yeah,
he
is
called it-
if it was more rare, it would be more of a rivalry because you'd have the teams playing in their respective spots when they should be. Like this still should not be a second round matchup. It should have been the Tampa Bay Lightning versus the Pittsburgh Penguins, and it should have been the Boston Bruins versus the Washington Capitals in the second round.
Is that what it would have been?
That's what it would have been because Pittsburgh would have played Toronto, and Pittsburgh would have fallen into the fifth spot. I don't see Toronto winning that series just from the experience and the fact that Phil Kessel's going to score 85 goals a game and then look up in the stands at Steve Simmons and just give
The
these.
double bird
Fair.
And
while Steve is eating a hot dog.
well,
And so the tables have turned, Steve. The tables have turned.
so there's that, and I would prefer the playoffs, and I've said this, and I'm sure a lot of people agree. 1 to 8 would be so much better, and then these types of matchups become more organic.
I'm
and
waiting
they
for the
become
Florida
better.
Panthers New York Islanders rivalry. It's gonna come along for sure. I mean, I want Barzal and Ekblad just
Why not?
one after another.
Why not?
Hattie.
Could
It's just
happen.
4 assists, 5 assists.
Could happen.
It could
We're
happen
gonna have-
for
no,
sure.
Not this format.
Sure. it could.
So,
I have hopes and dreams.
biggest takeaway from Washington Pens this year versus other years? What made this year different?
What made this year different?
Tom
Yeah.
Wilson.
Yeah.
Lack thereof?
No, just taking out Aston Reese and showing the guy like the Pens not gonna happen this year. I'm gonna break you all.
I'm kind of with Matt on this one. It might have scared him a bit. And we're like, oh my god.
Got rid of him for 3 games.
Yeah. Now he's back, game 1.
If they lose, maybe it was the lack of Tom Wilson. We don't know. I think he is an important part on that team.
I think
Don't get me wrong. I think he's a piece of shit who takes these cheap shots all the time. But
He's
I
a
think he's
monster.
a very
He's an
important part of that team.
Yeah.
I would biggest takeaway for me, I think everyone on the Caps stepped up when Backstrom went down because he missed the last 2 games of that series, and just the further emergence of Kuznetsov being like, wow, okay, well, I knew he's good, but he keeps getting better. Like
Well,
every time I watch Kuznetsov, he's even better, and I hate that stupid bird flap.
You know what's crazy is you look at this team, and they are so much the anti, like, oh, girl, Canadian kids. Their top line, I don't think has a Canadian.
The Caps.
Their top defensive pairing doesn't have a
Tom
Canadian.
Wilson. Is he not Canadian?
He wasn't there.
Okay.
Talking about game.
I'm sorry.
Tom Wilson's probably Canadian.
He is, he's from Ontario.
But you
he's
have
dating a Winnipeg.
you
girl.
have
Or
guys like getting Kuznetsov. You have these risks, right? Because like you never know with Russian players. It's the Russian factor.
It's the thing though
Yeah.
is they always show up in those big games. They always do it against Canada in the World Juniors.
Yeah.
Every year.
So
Oh.
you have Evgeny Kuznetsov, you have Alex Ovechkin, who really has had some very impressive playoff showings and has been bad in others, like very inconsistent. has definitely stepped up at the age of 32, I believe, 33.
He's only 30 or 31.
Okay. Regardless, I'm
Still getting up.
it's all the gray hair. It makes
It
me
is.
wonder.
He does look old. I agree.
And it's the fact he's finally starting to work out that he's like, all that vodka, I need to work out. But it's their risks on drafting guys like Dmitry Orlov and their dedication to keep bringing guys in like Andrei Burakovsky. Like, these are not your prototypical, like, guys you bring in to build and form a
All the
winner.
names
And
are-
bring in Lars Eller as well.
All the names you're
Who was-
naming. Well, even Lars Eller, like, when I think of those guys, I think of, like, well, I don't know. Every single one of the guys you named. And now they're coming together. And they're
Yeah.
just like, all right, well, you know,
And then
we can do this.
The story of Game 5 was Verana.
No, I think it was
Yeah.
Chris Letang. Oh, I'm not covering your man, Don Cherry. Well, he got upset at Chris Letang.
Yeah.
Because Chris Letang was
Yeah.
covering Verana, watched the pass
Watch
instead
the
of the
pass.
man. And then the pass came right on the back of Verana. Boom. 3
Well,
minutes 38
and
left.
you know what? It's a fair criticism. It is a very fair
I like watching the
criticism.
He's never been the best in his own end. He's always been great offensively, but he's always been mediocre to better echelon,
Yes,
of course.
of
He's
course.
a very good defenseman, but he's never been a top tier, like
It's-
not a Doughty
yeah.
or he's always been more of a Subban type, right?
You have to be able to pick those. Like, that kind of play is 100% preventable if you're playing the man instead of the puck. And he was playing the puck, got burned. But Verana was, and this is another European, like, and there's something to be said that maybe just going all Canadians isn't the way to go.
How many Canadians do they even have on their team?
8, I'm going to say.
Washington?
As like a
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up
rough
the-
estimate. Because you have
I don't even.
you have
think it's
Holtby, you have Tom Wilson,
Madison Bowie, but he's not on the starting line.
okay. Are one of Brooks Orpik or Matt Niskanen
Nope,
Canadian?
both American.
John Carlson's American. Dmitry Orlov's Russian. Who are their bottom 6? Taylor Chorney?
Who's Juice? The Juice?
Oh, jeez.
I
Yeah.
don't think he's
Dude,
Canadian.
they might not have over 5 people that are Canadian
I don't
on that
think
team.
they
Okay,
do.
I'll count them. Tom Wilson,
Okay.
Brett Connolly,
Okay.
Jay Beagle,
The Beagster.
Alex Chiasson,
Okay.
Chandler Stevenson,
He doesn't count. Just kidding.
Devontae Smith-Pelly,
Okay, so we're at 6.
Madison Bowie,
He doesn't count.
Play, but
Taylor
keep going.
Chorney.
Okay.
Does he play?
Yeah.
Fourth line.
Yeah. He's defenseman.
Oh right.
Bottom pair.
That's it.
And then Braden
Done.
Holtby.
And then Hopi.
And then Holtby.
It's
So
8.
8.
8.
Good
Yeah.
call.
Woo!
Did it.
I was right for once.
You know,
But
guys,
either way-
they do have a couple more, but they're not on the roster. But I'm going to name one just for
Okay.
Anthony Peluso. He's technically on the roster.
Okay.
Technically.
So yeah, like I think, and then you also like your top line. Your biggest guys are Nicholas Backstrom, Swedish, Alex Ovechkin, Russian, Kuznetsov, Russian, Andrei Burakovsky, who I believe is also Russian.
Yep.
Like they're biggest players. Oh, and they also have TJ Oshie, who's American.
He's an evil American. man.
Yeah. So like
I don't cheer for that American.
I am excited to see what this team does, and like Dan said in our playoff preview, like they flew so far under the radar that this could be their year, and why not? Why not?
There's too many Cinderellas, and they're not my Cinderella, so I'm not cheering for them.
Austrian.
He's Austrian.
Who is
Okay.
that?
Andrei
Burakovsky?
Burakovsky.
Yeah.
Oh,
Austrian-born Swedish. Swedish.
Oh, so he
Professional
played
soccer.
for Sweden.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
So-
yeah, I didn't think it was Russian.
Essentially, what my point is with
Okay.
talking about the nationalities is I am sick and tired of hearing that you need to have Canadians to win.
You have to have good hockey players.
You just have to have guys that can play hockey.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's always been the Canadian kids has always been like the grind kind of, but like
the Getzlaff, the Perry,
Yeah,
the Taves,
exactly.
the Mike Richards, Jeff Carter,
yeah,
Drew
all those
Doughty,
guys, yeah,
right?
the guys with the gumption, as we'll say.
Tenacity, grit.
But,
truculence.
Don't forget about your grits in the morning.
more and more coming in, these European players play that game as well. Like not a lot of look at Hedman. Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
wouldn't want to fuck with Hedman.
Zdeno Chara,
Yeah,
who's
exactly.
been in the league for 20 years.
Baby Soft, that's his nickname. If you don't know anything about hockey and you're listening to this podcast, one thing you need to know about Chara, Baby Soft. That's what
He
they call him.
almost broke the Stanley Cup, raising it over his head. He almost smashed it.
Has it,
Like,
Baby Soft.
he almost bent it.
That's his thing,
crumpled
Baby
it.
Soft.
Now moving over to Zdeno Chara and those Boston Bruins, they lose in 5 games to the Tampa Bay Lightning. What do we have to say? Because obviously we'll get to the thing with Brad Marchand, but let's talk about the series first.
As you said,
I just want to say those were 2 great segues you did there. Like the first one, jumping from game to game, you're doing great today.
Yeah. I'm on it. It's all about working. It's because I tried Freshie for the first time.
Yeah? What kind did you get?
I got, what did I get? It was
Did you get the wrap?
No, I got a bowl.
Okay.
It was like, no, it had like barbecue sauce, it had, I think, spinach, kale, like black beans, corn.
They're good, eh?
I was like, this is, I'm so full.
Bellum
I'm so, like, I ate like 3/4 of it. I'm like, I'm full.
Yeah. And you
this
feel
was $10.
Yeah.
This was $10.
Yeah. Oh, just while we're on food real quick in the Belly MTS Center, have you ever had a jet dog?
I have.
Oh, that would make you a fan. This guy has never had a jet dog.
You're not a fan.
Are you serious?
Get out of here.
How much money are you?
What is a what? Who doesn't?
How much is a 30-pack of Bud Light? Exactly. One time get 15. You know what?
Why would I do that when I could eat it home for like $5 and then go drink some beer?
How about
at the
this?
MTS
How about
Center?
this? When's your birthday?
February 12th.
Deal.
Okay,
We're buying you
next
a jet
year,
dog.
we'll go to a Mantle and Moose game and we'll get you a jet dog.
Like how you said Moose can go. I can't afford the jet. We'll get a jet dog. I can't get both. You're not getting you got one or the other. You're not getting the ticket and the dog.
I can't afford it.
Just to give reference, every topping's an additional $1.50 for this foot-long, like, buttered dog of... You feel like garbage when you're done eating it. And if you fully load it and get the meal, it's $25.50. Because I've done it twice. And you know what?
I don't.
It doesn't feel good.
I only do the chili sauce and bacon bits. That's all I do.
Well, fully... Yeah, I can tell you...
And the onions.
Well, do it fully loaded. You get the free onions.
Yeah.
And then you get... So, you get the bacon bits. You get the pierogies. Then you get the... chili sauce. Then you get the cheese. And then you get... There's another topping in there that you have to pay for. Grilled peppers or something like that.
Okay,
like
yeah, banana
jalapenos.
peppers.
No, it's like grilled. They're like,
okay.
you gotta pay $1.50 for them. You gotta spice them up a bit. And then I add relish and mustard on there too.
And then Cam wonders why he's out of breath after 2 shifts.
Oh, yeah, you're not kidding. And you know, the first time I ever did this, I was wearing my white Flyers jersey. That was the day I found out that the box can unfold. And I got them to cut my hot dog in 3. And you know what? The guy behind me gave such judgment. He said, "You're cutting a Jets dog?" And I'm like, in 3. And he's like, ah! It's just like he got jacked up. Anyways, Freshie, delicious. Back to Tampa, Boston. As you said earlier, it was just the other lines took over. The other lines. Like game 1, that line combined for what, like 10 points? Like the Marchand line, there were 8 points. Every goal, it was like, okay, I'm going over here. Just kidding, back pass. And they shot it wide open every time. Go.
Who's the second pairing for Boston? Because do they do McAvoy and Chara?
They were doing... they were doing McAvoy, Chara.
So Krug was getting absolutely roasted the entire
with
playoffs.
With McQuaid, maybe? If he's still
would
there?
have probably been McQuaid.
They were not...
Because I know Brandon Carlo used to be on their second pairing with Krug, but he's injured.
Hurt right now, yeah.
But then once Krug got injured and went out for the series because he like bunged up his ankle or his leg.
He went in like 2 feet, just kind of the same way that Crosby screwed his feet up. The thing is I think when you're looking at it real time, it looked bad because one of the Tampa players, I think it was Andre Palat, don't quote me, but they were going in the boards together, and like you see Palat's stick almost never makes contact with him when you actually look at the replay. But it's one of those plays where they're going in together, so obviously could have been a lot worse and could have been player driven. So, but this was the offensive dominance of the Tampa Bay Lightning that we saw during the regular season that people were wondering, because we didn't see it in March, we didn't see it in April, they took till May. They're like, well, we'll just take 2 months off, we're that good. We can just forget about hockey.
And that's what I said when I was picking my bracket. I'm like, I had New Jersey picked in the first round, and I was like, man, it's fucking Tampa, they're going to the finals.
Well,
stupid.
The thing about them is, like, you have... Like, it was like almost like a warm-up series against Tampa. They're like, or against New Jersey. Like, wow.
Just kind of rev themselves up and go, yeah, we can do this, come on. Like,
It's
sitting
like-
there
it's
just
like little
skipping.
warm-up.
Exactly.
Well, it's like when Chicago went on all their runs and they're like, "Oh, we got to play Minnesota again. Perfect.
Yeah.
We know how this is gonna go."
Oh, nice to see you, doorstep Blues. See you in the second round. Yay, we're the conference finals. David Backus walks by. We haven't even played a game. Patrick Kane and Brandon Sauter high-fiving pancake, conference finals. Like, that's what they do. They got Minnesota and then the Blues. It's not even
And then
fair.
it'd be the Anaheim Ducks, and it's like, "Oh, well, we haven't played Ryan Kessler 100,000
Yeah,
times."
exactly. Well, yeah, and then Ryan,
No.
Taves just like, I know how to beat him. And Ron's like, no, you don't. Taves was like, don't even talk to him whenever face off. It's fine. And then Brandon Saut's like, I'm going to try. And he's like, no, don't talk to him. Ah, damn it. All right. Okay. Well, we got him. They got a game. We regroup.
Now we just need to get rid of Brown and Satt. We won't be able to afford him. This Artemi Panarin kid's really good, so let's start playing him. Okay, we can't win a playoff series with this Panarin kid, so let's trade him for Brandon Satt. No, we can't even get into the playoffs.
Who's the guy they reacquire again? Johnny Urduya? Is that the guy who's coming
Yeah,
back?
well, they've already done.
He's somewhere in Philadelphia. He
They've already-
didn't even play a game. He didn't even take warm-up. They
They've already-
never put him in a jersey. I don't know what... Paul Holmgren, I don't know what they did to him.
Well, you know
He
what?
might be Bane. They might have turned him into Bane and locked him up. And not like the cool Bane, like from our generation, like the Bane from like...
The 70s show.
No, the Bane from like the
Batman,
90s one that's like the jacked
Batman
up...
and Robin?
Batman and Robin with the bat nipples?
Yeah, those ones. Like that's... They're gonna...
Joel Schumacher one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Paul Holmgren's gonna... Or Hextall's gonna come up and be like, yeah, we have a new acquisition. His name is Johnston Odontia. And he's gonna walk up and be like, I'm having a play! I'm like, oh my god, who is this guy? Come on! Pro Rob's like, I'm scared, I don't want to play with him.
And Goose is like, I'll take him.
I will play with him. Madden's gone, I don't know what to do.
McDonald's just sitting there like, guys, I'm still
I
here.
get to shut up, Andrew! Get out of here! No one has your opinion!
Alright, let's bring it
Sorry,
back.
yeah, sorry.
So biggest reason why Tampa was able to beat Boston.
Secondary scoring. Their speed, their skill, everything we know about Tampa is how they beat them. And they didn't play into Boston's, like, shenanigans at all. Not even a bit.
And you know what else I think they did?
What's that?
They didn't try to play a matchup game with them. The same way that I think Mike Babcock tried to. Here's the thing, is if you look at matchup, Tampa had a favorable matchup against Boston, whereas Boston had a favorable matchup against Toronto. Full circle comes around, I think Toronto would have a very favorable matchup against Tampa Bay. They match up very well against them. Could have been a much different...
It would have been a better series.
Would have.
coming
Oh,
up.
really? Because 7 games? 7 games? And Toronto had the lead going on 13?
Well, no, I'm saying a better...
No,
I
Toronto
know.
Tampa.
I know.
Then,
No, I know
no,
what you're saying.
then saying than Tampa
Yeah.
Boston.
Well, if it was a conference final, I think it wouldn't have been out of the realm of possibilities that Toronto could beat Tampa just because of the way Toronto matches up against them. But at the end of the day, Tampa's speed and skill wins.
The only problem that I have with Toronto compared to Tampa is they're like Tampa's D is just so much. Like, and that's the problem. with Toronto
No one's as
everywhere,
good
right?
as McDonough and Hedman.
No.
No,
Not really.
no, in Toronto. They don't. And then you just have this random defenseman that everyone's like, you didn't draft him in Sergachev.
Yeah. Well, you look at Zaitsev. He had a rough year.
He did. You know
I
who
think
didn't have a
he
rough year?
bounces back, but that was a rough
You know who
year.
didn't have a rough year? Sergachev. He's still playing. That was a really good trade. We need a first-line center who doesn't play center. Let's trade our top defensive prospect.
You know what would be a great idea? Oh, what's the name of the GM again?
Bergman.
And what's the coach?
Claude Julien.
Doesn't matter. I'll just speak like a French person the entire time. Hey, Julien, you know what would be a good idea? Oh yeah, what would that be? What would that be, Mark? Why don't we turn our top prospect, defensive prospect? Why not? We just got rid of PK. This guy looks like he has got too much characteristic, as they say. Why don't we trade him for a guy who plays wing, and we'll make him play center? A great idea. Let's go. We won. And that's how the trade happened.
Like, have a
And
fucking
goodbye,
centerman
Montreal
playing wing.
fans.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I personally... Like, I'm still hung up on this because they made Boston so much better. Or, not Boston, Tampa Bay so much better. And, like, it didn't help Montreal out. So
You know what's great? Tampa
I
was...
feel bad. Like, as much as I love seeing Montreal suck, it's like, I feel bad for them because I want them to be...
Here's the
somewhat
thing,
good.
like, take away Sergachev, because their D is still good even without
Yeah,
Sergachev. Like, he's on
yeah.
the third pairing,
Oh,
but
for sure.
he does make the power play
Could you
better.
imagine Drouin on that team?
That's what I'm saying, like, where's the offense coming from everywhere?
Well, your third line is Yanni Gord and Drouin, probably.
was centered by who? Like Johnson, huh?
No.
Johnson's playing the wing right now.
Well, Nemestikov would still be there at that point too, because they wouldn't have traded for. They got McDonough and JT Miller because they didn't get Erik Karlsson. We all know that's public knowledge.
Yeah, no, for sure.
They could have had Erik Karlsson. Well, like Erik Karlsson's like 3 third-liners on the ice at the same time with offensive ability. That's what it is. He's everywhere. You can't stop him. And he's got. You have half an ankle more than he does. He's got half an ankle and he's still better than me.
Half the world.
Yeah, more than half the world. He's better than half the
95% of the NHL.
He's better than like 99.3% of the entire world at hockey. He's missing a half an ankle. That's just stupid.
So now I think it makes sense to get into the thing that happened.
Do you want me to read? Hold on.
Please
There was
do.
a message sent out.
Oh no.
Yep. Hold on. Okay.
Well,
So Frank Saravalli tweeted that before last night's game between the Jets and Preds, they were both warned this morning that licking an opponent may result in any 10-minute misconduct. Rule 75.4, example 3. Any player who persists in any course of conduct designed to incite an opponent into incurring a penalty will receive a 10-minute misconduct and be ejected from that game. And the Jets and Preds were warned about this, and the guy who tweeted it also tagged it by saying, "I can't believe I'm tweeting this." Because Brad Marchand has become the modern age Sean Avery. He found a way around the rule book, and now there's absolutely no way they don't bring this up. Like they're going to change the rule in the offseason.
So
I'm sure.
here's something that I don't know. So I ref for 7 years. Okay, I ref some pretty high level hockey. There is a thing in Hockey Canada rulebook, so it's a different rulebook than the NHL, that is called a gross misconduct, which is making a mockery of the game. So things like, I don't know, I've seen things like guys punching each other, like punching the other team in the handshake line. I've seen guys spit on other guys. Gross misconduct, it normally carries a suspension, it's an automatic ejection from the game. It's not like a match penalty where you're attempting to injure. It's different in the sense that you're just being an idiot.
You're disrespecting
However,
the game.
the NHL does not have a gross misconduct rule. Do you know what you do to solve this problem? A gross misconduct rule.
Here you go, found it.
To essentially say, you shouldn't do this.
Don't lick people in the face!
But here's my problem. The ref watched Brad Marchand do it, and his thoughts were, well, that's okay. It's like, this doesn't fall under any rules. It's, at worst, at least, it's unsportsmanlike conduct. Give him 2 minutes. Give him 2 minutes. Like, what, is he that protected? Oh, that's right, Brad Marchand. One penalty where his team was down. One penalty. He took two minors, all playoffs. One of them was evened up by a bullshit secondary call by the refs. The other one, he had one. Brad freaking Marchand. One.
And how many times are we talking about him licking people? At least 4.
3. He had 3 licks in the playoffs.
No, not the playoffs, just the year.
No, 3 licks in the playoffs. Komarov, Hyman, and Callahan. He licked Hyman, and no one talked about it.
I missed that one. I did not see the Hyman.
The Callahan one's like...
That Callahan one's like...
From chin to nose.
Yeah.
It's like...
That's a sweaty man. It's a sweaty man's.
Well, Callahan reacted real quick.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, there's a meme going around, who's that Pokemon? And then it shows Brad Marchand
as Lickitung.
Yeah.
But it's making a mockery of the game, and we may, like, you gotta think the old people in hockey, like, are just rolling over in their graves, or they're like, this is how you play the game. No! Like, you make fun of, like, the funny thing is the same people that would say, oh, that's good for hockey, or that's just how the old timers would do it. They're the same guys who get mad at NFL players who celebrate after a sack. Oh, look at that guy showboating. Oh, what lack of character he has. This is a lack of character. I would be embarrassed. As much as I like Brad Marchand as a player, hate a lot of his antics on the ice, hate a lot about what he does, he gets away with at least a slew foot or 2 a game. That's how he plays, and I can at least understand.
He's got to be on that line. That's the only way he can play.
And he's a fantastic player at it, and he's a player I would take on my team in a heartbeat. But this is the type of thing where you go to your player and you say, none of this at all. You do this, you're not playing, period. This is a joke, and it is making a mockery of the league. You want to try to grow hockey? You want to try to make it the same level as the other sports? You take stuff like this out and make it the gentleman game it's supposed to be.
Does he wear a letter on that team?
He might have an A. I don't know for sure.
Carr's got the C. Bergeron's definitely got an A.
It might be Bergeron I'm thinking of that has the A. I don't think Bergeron.
It could be Marchand. It's either Marchand
or McQuaid.
or McQuaid would be the only other one that I can see. So it probably is Marchand.
Or Bacchus.
Oh, Krejci probably.
Oh, Krejci.
Yeah, it's not him. I just found it.
So, I think I found the solution to it. I think you just institute a gross misconduct rule, which is making mockery of the game. So that falls under spitting, licking, trying to grab a guy's junk maybe. I don't know.
Well, even as you said about the older guys, like defending it, like, oh yeah, that's what you do. Back in the day, you couldn't get close enough to a guy's face to lick him.
No.
Not even close.
No,
you got within an arm's reach and you'd be punched in the face.
Exactly, and that's the difference. Like, this is why fighting and tough guys need to be in hockey. Ty Domi wouldn't have let that happen.
Because Ty Domi was nuts. Let's clear one time, a fateful evening in Philadelphia. Ty Domi beat up a fan. The fan was mocking him. He sprayed water. The fan said something and leaned on the glass. The glass broke, and Ty Domi instead was like, haha, that's hilarious. Ty Domi thought, I'm going to start punching him.
What?
And he started
That guy was swinging over top. He jumped over a guy and was trying to swing at Ty Domi.
Nothing is better, though. Like, as much as that, the best is the call. Watch the lawsuit, Ty.
Yeah.
Watch the lawsuit, Ty! The best is when the Buffalo fan jumps over the glass, or it's not in Buffalo, but this fan jumps over the glass, and the Buffalo Sabres bench just starts
Rob Ray. They counted. He had 16 shots before they grabbed him. He didn't land 16 shots in a fight the entire year. He landed 16 straight. That's Rob Ray, an NHL trained killer. Like, that's his job. His job was to beat people up. Oh, and they're like, he suffered enough from him. Now let him go. Let him go with humanity. Oh, my goodness.
And then you have the Mike Milbury thing. Which is beating a guy with his own shoe.
I forgot about that. He jumped in the crowd, and he grabbed the guy's shoe, and just hit him with his own shoe.
Old-timey hockey, let me tell you about it.
I like how Mike Milbury didn't even think. He's like, I've got blades on my feet. He's like, I'm just going to stand on this concrete and kill this guy. Ah! I got a shoe! Oh, I love it.
You know what the old-time hockey guys would never have predicted?
What's that?
A NHL team in Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah. Nope.
Never mind an NHL team in Las Vegas with 2 series wins.
Only 2 losses!
Only 2 playoff
They've only
wins.
lost twice!
So,
Yep.
Vegas beats San Jose in 6 games. Moves to their first ever conference final in their first ever season.
You don't say.
Once again, continues to shock the world. I have no words left for this team other than, fuck it, they might as well just win the cup at this point.
This is my Cinderella story. I'm in. That's it. No more picking against Vegas. It doesn't matter who comes out of the Preds and Jets.
Carlson.
Wild Bill. Yep. I don't know.
I had nothing to say about this series. Like, I don't.
Game 1!
They do it again.
They scored 3 goals in like 2.5 minutes. It's just pang, pang, pang. And I was like, is this? Yeah, they're going to turn it around. They just kept scoring. They did the same thing they've been doing all year. I don't know why no one can figure it out. Even if Preds are like, we'll play the trap, they're like, we love the trap. It doesn't matter. We're going to score.
You found a way to beat our 3-2 forecheck? We'll run a 4-1 forecheck.
4-1-1 there. What?
Nate Schmidt, go!
Naked bootleg. That's right.
I think the probably the biggest story of this series, in all reality, is Marc-Andre Fleury. And, like, of their playoffs, of their season, this is Marc-Andre Fleury's, like, yeah, you probably should have kept me in all those years, like, in not,
the last 3 years.
Yeah. He's been absolutely spectacular. That, like, choke Fleury thing that he does in the playoffs is now gone after last year's performance and this year's performance. He is the front runner right now for the Conn Smythe.
Who's even near him? Who's even close?
No.
Bufflin, maybe? I would say Bufflin.
Bufflin or Scheifele. Braden Point.
But even that.
But, like, those guys, like,
3
I'm
levels
stretching.
down from.
I'm stretching for that.
Yeah, like, it's not even close.
Like, maybe if Ovi wins the cup and gets, like, 35 more goals.
If they play, say Vegas beats whoever comes out of the Jets Preds,
Yeah.
and they go, even if Vegas loses, I still say Fleury. Like, unless Ovi, like, someone goes insane.
Yeah.
Come on. It's not even close.
What was the last one? Was it Jaguar? That was the last one to lose?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
still
lose
win?
and win.
I can see it.
He is something special right now. Like, that team in itself is special, and that's honestly, it's funny because we're going to be getting another expansion team in a couple of years with the Seattle, whatever, Totems is apparently a good rumor.
I wanted the Kraken. So I'm with Dan. Only serve coffee and straight Kraken
Dark
alcohol.
Rum,
Yeah.
Well, that's what everyone needs. Let's just.
They'd solve a lot of the world's issues overnight.
Exactly.
Yeah. They're like, all right, Starbucks are going global. And they're like, you are global. More global!
Clearly, they've already said they're not really going to change anything for that expansion draft. So, I guess expectations are high for Seattle.
Well, expectations are huge. But also, now, though, the difference is if the rules haven't changed, they're going to be, who's a neighbor in Home Improvement? Wilson?
I know. Wilson.
Either way, okay,
Yeah,
the
Wilson.
neighbor. That's how everyone's going to deal with Seattle. They're going to pop their eyes over and be like, what do you want, Seattle? Oh, we're thinking about taking this guy. We'll think about it. And then they'll pop that down their fence and walk to the other side.
Except for Bowman, who will be like, or Dale Talon will be, hey, which one do you want, Barkov or Bukestad? Yeah, fuck it, take them both.
And Aaron Lampard's like, what about me? And he's like, don't worry, we got a deadline to trade you, buddy. It's okay. So stupid. What is going on?
Like,
Here's a question I'll ask, though, with Vegas. If they ice the exact same team next year, are they still as good?
No.
They are a borderline playoff team with what the guys they have shown, and if they can re-sign James Neal, if they can keep some of this talent around, then yes. The other thing is, the elephant in the room, Erik Karlsson might be going there.
Or if they don't
They
want to
also have a
assets,
6th overall pick in Cody Glass that could be there next year. They have other guys in their system.
Eric Brandstrom, pretty good to go too. Who's the other guy? Michael Rasmussen down the middle too.
They have every pick imaginable right now.
If they don't want to give up assets because they gave up a little much to get Tatar, who's sitting in the press box, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
They could just be like, hey, Mr. Tavares, how about this number? Slide it across the table.
fair enough.
They have the cap space to do it.
They could do that and trade for Karlsson and then sign him to a max deal, essentially.
Yeah, they could
How
have
much cap space
they could have Tavares and Karlsson, and then that's when I jump ship, and I'm just like, I'm a Vegas Golden.
That's it, I'm in. I found my West team. Vegas, I've been there once. I'm going to go once every year
And
now.
then Matt Duchene finds a way to also go part of that deal.
No, you don't go to Matt. What do you... No.
I
Matt
want-
Duchene ruins franchises.
No, he doesn't.
We learned that this year.
Yeah, because he played well in
The moment he left Colorado, they're like, to the playoffs and beyond! And Nathan McKinnon's like, good, he was too slow on my line. I hated him. He's awful.
Have you seen his shell stats? I'm a 91 speed. He's a 90. I'm too fast.
He's a bum!
But yeah, I think they are a playoff team in that division, considering how poor that division really is. Vancouver might be another, like, they have so many borderline playoff teams where I think San Jose is probably front runner next year to win that division. I think Anaheim's too old. I think LA just doesn't have the scoring, and they will have to rely on Jonathan Quick too much.
Just thought of something. Say if they miss out on Erik Karlsson next season, just sign Doughty.
Just Doughty, yeah.
I don't like this game anymore.
Well, they could,
This game sucks.
they could just sign Karlsson next season, too.
Oh.
Or the other
Why not both? It's like that Taco Bell commercial. Why not both?
Or the other thing they could do, which I don't like either, is they could somehow be like, we have this right-handed defenseman in Toronto, but we really want William Nylander. And then Nylander goes there for a middling, like, Braden McNabb or something like that.
Colin Miller.
Colin Miller, yeah, for William
What?
Nylander.
I like it. Matt's rolling his eyes because it's like all these guys are like, we knew they played hockey, but we're like, wow, this. Hey,
They were all
who knew we
5'6"
could
defensemen. Nate Schmidt was a 7th defenseman in Washington. Like,
He's playing.
and he's the top pairing
You know what's-
defenseman there.
You know what's even messed up? Derek Englund, who were all like, why did Vegas go after him? He's like
Calgary, they
top-
signed him to like a $3 million deal or like 2.1 per, and everyone's like, oh, terrible signing. And now it's like they're shut down D.
He's playing unreal. They're just like, we get it. No one wanted us. Well, now we'll just play beast mode all season.
They just got the biggest chip on their shoulders ever.
Where okay, I was trying to figure this out, and for some reason I keep thinking Minnesota, but Eric Holla came from Minnesota. Where did Alex Tuck come from?
Minnesota as
Minnesota
well.
as well in a trade to make sure that they took Eric Holla.
What the fuck
Because
were teams thinking?
They know because they
Hey, let's give you this good prospect so you can take another good player
They
from
didn't
us.
want them to take Dumba. And I mean, Dumba's pretty good, but like, that's what so many, look at, they were like, okay, we'll give you, hold on, put the bag of chips down for a minute. We'll give you Marcia so, but you have to promise to take Riley Smith. And they're like, okay. And then it's like,
It made no sense.
They never
This whole draft made zero sense.
That's why everyone next draft is going to be on high alert. They're going to be like, what do you want? What do you want?
What are you up to?
What angle are you coming at, Bill? What do you want?
You know what would have been great? Is if Toronto protected Brendan Leipzig and then, let Paul Martin go, or Matt Martin go to that team. For some grit. Ryan Reeves.
Hey, Minnesota did okay, or Winnipeg did okay.
Yeah.
They only lost
Chris
Thorburn. Hey, I think
But they
Winnipeg's
gave him
winning this.
They gave him a first round pick.
Oh, they flipped a first round pick. They just moved
Yeah.
down, and who they take this year?
Vesalainen.
Vesalainen?
Not so bad.
They probably would have took him at the draft position
Yeah.
they had because that's how they draft.
Philly's just like, damn it, I don't want to give up draft picks. Well, fine. You can take Pierre-Edouard Bellemare. And he's like, what the fuck? Guys, I thought we were friends. We love you, Pierre, but we can't.
Fourth
We
line
need to
center
keep
there.
Dale Weiss. So, yeah. Sorry, bud. No trade clause. Got to keep him. So,
Who
Dale,
signs Dale Weiss to a no trade clause?
I don't think he actually has a no trade, but I know there are a lot of no trades. Like,
Oh, yeah.
when I was going down the list, I was like, what the hell?
He's protected.
This is way too many.
Why is Chris Pronger still protected?
No, hey,
Same with Mark
he's in
Recchi.
Phoenix. How dare you?
Where? Where is he?
Or damn it, dollar in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Wait, that jar would be enough to buy us Jericho pizza right now.
More than two of them for sure. They say it every podcast for sure. So back to
Needless to
San
say.
Jose.
So-
Vegas.
Off the rails.
Yep.
Vegas
Way off.
is playing in the conference finals against the winner of Winnipeg Nashville. Who do you guys take?
Yeah. Oh yeah, right. Okay.
We
well,
have to do picks.
Yeah, we have.
We
to
won't
do-
be on until next week. The series will have already started by then.
Okay.
Because the conference finals, before we start, conference finals start Friday with the Eastern Conference final, and the Western Conference final will start on Saturday.
Okay.
I'm just going to take the winner of the Central. Whoever comes out of there, I think, is winning the cup. So,
Fair enough.
Greg, who are you taking?
So, for the first time, I'm just deciding. And how many games?
I don't need to do games. I'm not part of your.
Oh, you're not part of that thing. Okay. So,
I just
here's,
need to pick a winner.
here's what
I
my
don't wanna
thought
be
is. Is I have picked against Vegas from the beginning of the year all the way through. So, I've been disappointed by them since October. So, I'm going to pick them.
Now you know how your mother feels about you, Greg.
Rude. Rude. You're a bully.
Oh, there's what? Why is it leaking?
I didn't close the lid all the way, so it didn't make a noise, you monster.
I got water all over myself.
What you get. Okay, so finish your thought.
Okay, that I'm gonna pick Vegas in 7. Even though they probably won't even get to 7 games, because knowing Vegas, they'll win in like 5 somehow.
Yeah.
Oh, first game was 8-0 against the 1-3-1. How? How? Gerard Gallant has some sort of magic. And you know what? It'll be freaking... You know what? It'll be fucking Vegas, Washington. I'm gonna pick... I'm gonna pick Tampa Bay
Okay, and how many?
in 6.
Okay.
We're not going to go through all of them and then go back.
I went off the rails.
No, we're good all over. Okay.
The reason why is because I wouldn't be upset with either East team, and really I wouldn't be upset with either West team. There's no Pittsburgh this year, there's no LA, there's no Chicago, there's no Boston. I'm happy. And for the first time since 2008, we're going to get a different winner in the Cup, and depending what happens in the Washington-Tampa series, we could also have a first-time Cup winner.
Well, there's only
4 of the 5 remaining teams have never won a Cup. So.
Okay, well, Dan has chosen Caps in 6.
Okay.
And if Jets win, he takes Jets in 6 over Vegas. If Preds win, he takes Vegas in 6. I will take if the Preds win, I'm taking Preds in 6. But if Vegas wins, I'm taking Vegas in 7.
Or you mean if Winnipeg wins?
What's that?
You said if the Preds
Oh,
win.
yeah. If Preds,
Sorry.
yeah, that's...
Sorry,
if Winnipeg's playing Vegas, I'm taking Vegas.
In 7.
Yeah, if Vegas plays Preds, I'm taking Preds in 6. And I'm taking Tampa in 5.
The other thing too is Vegas will be the away team for this series.
Yes.
Regardless
Doesn't
of-
matter. You know what happened last time Vegas was in town in Winnipeg?
Like,
They tried murdering the starting goalie. and they counted the goal.
Neil.
oh yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah, and the refs were like, hold on, no penalty. And that was a pretty sweet goal, actually. And they're like, Holly, give me some skin. They just skated over me. They traded high fives.
Hey,
and
real
pounded
deal,
it.
real deal.
Yeah,
Boom.
get in there, buddy. Yeah, the real deal of Derek Engelland. Yeah.
No.
Wild Bill, Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
The flower.
The flower is, what's his name? Nate Schmidt.
Yeah.
So, actually, what did they call? Hold on. There's a great video I'll tweet it. It's like half hour, like Quest to the Cup, and it started like round 2, and it's like every team has like someone mic'd up except the Jets. They don't have many. They weren't allowed in the dressing room in the Jets, so I think someone up top said, "No, nothing, not allowed. It's all business." Vegas,
Because let's not have fun with things.
I guess Vegas. They have so much access to Vegas that, like, when they're naming, they give it to Marchand, and he walks around, and they call who did they call it? They call Fleury like the French brick wall or something. But there's a swear in there because there's a lot of beeps. When he says this, when Marchand's like, "Oh yeah, the French brick wall, flower," or like something, and you're like, "What?" It's great. I'll tweet it. It's fantastic. Yeah, but okay. So just to reiterate, you have Vegas in 7,
Yeah.
Tampa in 6.
Yeah.
Dan has Caps in 6. And then and Jets in 6 or Vegas in 6 if Preds.
Yeah.
I have Preds if win,
And Tampa
Vegas
in
over Jets.
And,
And then Tampa in 5.
Okay.
I'm very confident about my Tampa in 5.
fair enough.
I almost said 4, but I said 5.
Okay. You don't like is it the Tom Wilson effect?
It's only Tom Wilson.
So if like Tom Wilson does something stupid in game 1, doesn't injure a guy, just gets suspended for
No, he's on the
14
team.
games.
He gets his name on the cup.
Okay.
I don't want.
Okay, fair enough.
don't want.
Fair enough.
No.
If
I don't
you're
want him even in
suspended,
the
if you're
final.
suspended for game 7, do you get your name on the cup?
Or the rule is you have to play at least 20 regular season games
Yeah.
and 1 game in the Stanley Cup final. Usually.
Or an X
And
amount
then
of games in the
they
playoffs.
also
Or X amount of games in the playoffs is correct.
and they also exempt you from
Backup goalies get exempt.
yeah.
Yeah.
Then they also have at least one player they can bring.
There's
on.
one voting. It has to be a player key on
Yeah.
that because years ago, when was it? The Wings went back to back and won.
Yeah, 97, 98.
Okay, in '98, the second time
Yeah,
they won,
with
Illich tried voting his wife onto the cup.
Oh,
He,
really?
he tried like vetoing.
Over Konstantinov?
Well, he tried vetoing. He didn't veto Konstantinov because
Oh,
he
okay.
assumed he was going to be on it. He put in, I think, one of the years Detroit did it, Illich wanted his wife on it.
That's
and he
funny.
didn't even go to the team about it. Like, he didn't do the team vote. And then when they submitted it, the board was like, no, that name, not a name. And then so they had to make a rule, like, basically on the fly saying, no, it's got to be a player or someone in your organization.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, and then that's when Konstantinov got in because he assumed he was already going to be there. So it wasn't a slight. His wife wanted her name on the cup, I guess. So
And they didn't realize that Konstantinov wouldn't be on it because he didn't
Yeah.
actually play a game.
yeah,
Because he was wheelchair.
yeah, I was going to say something really bad happened.
Yeah,
I just
he
don't
got into a limo accident.
know. a limo accident.
Yeah.
It's like Ric Flair, gangster stuff.
Oh, someone's popular.
How
Done.
dare
Wow.
you?
It's twice in a row I did that.
But
I'm
you know who's
sorry.
not popular?
Who's that?
The Carolina Hurricanes.
Why? They named Rod Brindamore the head coach.
Rod Brennamore, the head coach, and Don Chadell?
Waddell?
Waddell?
That old guy from
Yeah.
Atlanta?
Yeah.
They're the GM.
And he's the GM and president.
What is he getting paid $100,000 a year to do that? Because they're really, that's why they're different people. They
Yeah.
said like, oh, you'll be making $300,000. It's like, what? You're making less than the least paid player? Get the piss out of here. You're running a team, an organization.
Because the owner is, I guess, very frugal. Because, like I said, the team's not that popular in Carolina.
That's
Honestly, if
You know,
there's...
he's done a very good job of trying to make it look like it's popular so people want to go to games. Like, he
Yeah.
shut the upper deck off. And then if you have upper deck tickets, upper
Yeah.
deck,
Yeah.
I know.
upper duckies.
Upper duckies. If
So
you
we're
have
gonna call
upper
him
deck...
from now on. Where are you sitting in the upper duckies?
In the upper duck. Hey girl, you want to go on a hot date? Got tickets in the upper duckies.
Anyways, if you have tickets to the upper
Get your
deck,
big jumbo jet dog.
the upper ducky seats. Nah.
he puts you in the lower bowl.
But he did that also, and he put him on camera side too.
Yeah.
To make it seem like
was more full.
in between the blues, yeah. It's
I
a
hear
classic Vince McMahon trick.
Yes.
If you didn't know,
Yes, I've
classic.
I've heard that before.
Yeah. Yeah, if they're ever in like a super, like Chattanooga or something, like super questionable, you're like, what the hell? Why are they there? they'll never show not camera side because they're empty. The seats are empty. They've moved everyone to hard camera side.
So it looks fuller than it is.
Yeah, oh yeah, of course. Yeah, they close off.
And they have plants in the crowd as well with signs.
Roman Reigns plants. Yeah, that's we're getting at 100%. That happens every show.
Yeah.
Those are real.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they pay people.
Either
to
way,
Roman Reigns.
they should have some Carolina Hurricanes plants. What do we think of Rod Brind'Amour as head coach and Don Waddell as GM?
Wasn't he assistant this year, Rod Brind'Amour?
Maybe.
He's gonna. Well, if there's anything like his playing style, he's gonna demand like both. Like you better cover your ass on defense because he's gonna hold everyone accountable. I think I don't know how great of a coach he is, like in one not being a head coach, but I think it might. They got a young, impressionable team. Like they're still pretty young, so you got to handle him pretty differently than like Rod Brind'Amour days where his nose. I can see every break. He's in that nose right now. Non-HD SD. I can see every break. So I like to see him do good. I like watching Carolina play hockey. They're pretty entertaining.
They're a lot of fun. I really like Carolina. Sebastian Aho is a really fun guy too. Overall, I'm still against hiring your former players.
Yeah, old boys club sucks.
To come work for you. Obviously, it could be different. I'm a little surprised that they wouldn't try to go after Alain Vigneault of the New York Rangers, or formerly of the New York Rangers.
He doesn't want to coach
a young team.
He's more give me a Stanley Cup contender when your coach sucks, and I'll bring them to the Stanley Cup. That's his.
So,
did you just say Montreal? That's what I heard.
No, Montreal's not there yet.
No.
How dare you? Carey Price. That's not what I'm talking about.
They have one player, and his name is Carey Price. Oh, you mean the Winnipeg Jets when, for some reason, they'll fire Paul Maurice, even though they shouldn't?
I hope they don't fire.
They're not. They will. His job's very safe.
They just extended him.
He's done a tremendous job with his team, which
when the team loses, coaches.
Even though everyone was questioning that extension.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Me.
I think I did too.
You know what? I still question the Brian Little signing, and Dan does it now too. Anyways, with Carolina,
so I have an issue with that. I don't know why you bring back guys who managed failing franchises like the Atlanta Thrashers, but maybe it's going to work. I don't know. I think
drafting and rushing guys in. So.
Yeah, exactly. Like that doesn't work.
Maybe he's learned his lesson.
I don't know.
Come on. No one's
Which
talked to him in
honestly,
10 years.
So made me think. So Don Waddell, former GM of the Atlanta Thrashers. So it made me think. What if the team never moved to Winnipeg? What would the team look like today?
Bad.
My exact thought. Why would it look bad, Cam?
Because they're the moves that have been done by Shovel Day Off and the drafting that has been done by the organization would be vastly different because they knew they were going to get moved to the West, so they had to change their team and approach.
There'd be no Scheifele.
100% agree. Why?
Because they would have never scouted him that well, and because of Dale Howard-Chuck was the big reason of why they took him.
Do you want to know the other reason why?
Sean Couturier, they pulled triggers.
Who's more marketable? Sean Couturier, guy that was projected at number 1, just fell on our laps at number 7. So, boom, then let's rush him into the NHL.
Which Flyers did anyways.
So. Well, yeah, but they didn't push him into a number 1 center role.
But that's exactly what I saw happening. I see a lot of the things. Jacob Trouba probably doesn't get on the team.
No,
they probably don't draft him. They probably don't draft Josh Morrissey.
They would not have drafted Josh.
I
can't.
Doesn't matter.
Morrissey.
It's crazy to think that how vastly different the team would be if it had stayed in Atlanta versus what it would have been. I don't think that they would have been able to re-sign Andrew Ladd. I don't know. Who did they re-sign the first summer?
Andrew Ladd. Because they needed a captain, and they signed him, and then he got...
he got 4x4 or something like that?
Yeah, and then he got a bunch of guys to come over.
Yeah.
Or not come over, but be like, hey guys, come visit Winnipeg before we move here. It's a pretty good place.
Yeah, that's right.
And I met him.
Smart.
And it would have been interesting. I don't think they would have gone after Alexei Ponikarovsky, but maybe he would have stayed there longer. Maybe John Oduya would never have been traded. Like, there's a lot of what ifs, and I was just thinking about it randomly. I just thought it would be a fun exercise to kind of go through and think of what the Atlanta Thrashers could have been.
They still would have drafted Nikolai Ehlers, but he would have been in the first season, and he would have probably turned out to be more of a Mistrov.
They would have drafted. Oh no, Nylander got drafted first. That's right.
I was gonna say because I would say they would have taken Nylander for namesake, but he got picked right before.
Although, who was drafted after? that's the thing, is they would have picked by name of who's more marketable, who can we push to the public.
There's no way you'd have drafted Jack Crossley. I can't talk.
Can you smell burnt toast? Are you okay?
Or Kyle Connor.
They might have still taken Connor because he was still projected in that
Fair
area.
enough.
But there's no way they.
Or they would have traded the 2 draft picks to try to move up to pick Zach Zaboral. No, maybe not. Maybe this is just me.
No, who knows?
Jake DeBrusk's looking good though. At least one.
Who's the other one?
Senishin.
Oh, Senishin.
Actually, they probably would have never had that draft pick because that was for Lab, wasn't it?
No.
That first
Oh
rounder?
yeah,
They would have never traded.
Are you
would
saying-
never had Lad. Yeah.
They would have re-signed him.
But are you saying that the team would have also not? Right, they would just finish exactly where they were, because I'm saying that they probably would have had higher.
Yeah, they probably would have had.
Yeah.
They would have been that
Because-
much worse.
And let's just say it bluntly, Winnipeg, we know how hockey works. Now, the year Winnipeg, like the Atlanta Thrashers moved here, where I worked at the time, there were customers who were like, "Oh, we're just visiting from Atlanta," and it was around Christmas time. I was like, "Oh, thank you for not caring about your team." And they're like, "What team?" And I was like, "The Atlanta Thrashers. You had an NHL hockey team." And they were like, "What?" And I was like, "Thank you." That's what I'm talking about. So because of that, just off those 2 customers I was just saying about, like maybe, like we expected. And like we knew it was going to be a rough transition for the first couple of years, but we were like, you know what, hockey's back. Let's be loud. Let's have fun. But after the first couple of years, we were like, all right, let's get stuff done.
Well,
it wouldn't have changed. It wouldn't have changed.
But like, and I said this year was like a big statement year for them at the start of the year, and they've definitely shown up. They definitely, even if they lose in Game 7, which 50-50 chance they're going to. This season has been 100% success, and everybody that's a part of this team needs to be commended for it. And there should be, I honestly, this has been such an enjoyable ride for the fans, for the city, and for these players that I'd be very confident if this team came in with the exact lineup next year, the exact same everything. They are going to be world beaters.
That's what I'm
next year.
thinking. They have to re-sign Toby Armstrong. That's what I was getting at too.
I'm
You
okay
said
with
exact
it.
same, no take backsies.
Yeah, no, I'm okay with it if it's a depth signing.
They know where they stand. They know where they stand. They know they're second best in the NHL,
Yeah.
and the best team, they're going to Game 7 with.
Yeah.
It's what everyone expected.
And the team that represented the Western Conference last year in the Stanley Cup final.
Yep.
And on top of that, this was the team everyone picked to win the Stanley Cup. On top of that, you're a team that a lot of their players don't have more than 4 games of playoff experience.
Yep.
Some of them do, but a lot of them don't.
Well, now they're racking up those numbers.
They are.
The year's 2018.
By this team legitimately could win in 2019. Legitimately could.
Yeah, they could.
For sure.
Well, Hockey News doesn't. They're not the softball news, okay? They know what they're
Yeah.
talking about.
Well, there is also the Sports Illustrated cover that did predict the Houston Astros to be the 2007.
Yeah, but hold on. They release a lot of issues. They release an issue a week. Every year. That's 52, if you didn't know.
I understand that, but
Sometimes you gotta throw stuff at a fan, and hopefully it sticks.
But did you ever read that article of why he predicted? It's the same
because
reason why they predicted the Jets. It was the drafting and development, the acquisition of talent, bringing guys in. Like, it is very clear that the Jets are not out there to just get guys to play on their team. They're out there to get guys who want to play on their team. So it's going to be a question to see what happens, Jacob Trouba, in the offseason. Obviously, the offseason isn't here yet, but going to the second round, getting the taste that they've had of the playoffs, I think it'd be
Top
tough.
line. It's what he's always wanted.
It'd
always
be
wanted.
tough for him to go somewhere else, in my opinion. I think with everything that's happened, how do you say I don't want to be a part of this next year?
Don't they have to sign Morrissey too?
Yeah, that contract's going to suck.
Morrissey, Trouba,
The top line.
Hellebuck.
And that Vezina nomination sure helps too, right?
Does he get a bonus for nominated?
No.
I know he
It
gets a
depends
mill.
on their contract.
He gets a mill if he wins. I'm pretty sure.
Let's see. Adam Lowry, Joel Armia, maybe Andrew Kopp, Tanev, maybe.
Yeah.
Got 7
But
guys.
they have like
Kobe
four of
Ensign
those-
if
they
they want
have
to
30
bring him
million.
back.
They have 30 million in cap space. But then they also have to think about, do they want to try to do an extension with Patrick Laine this year.
I mean, he did have a bit of an off year this year.
Only 45 goals. Wasn't 50.
Did he hit 45?
Yeah.
Was he 4 or 45? He was one of the two.
Yeah. He was in there.
Off year. You got to get him before he hits that 50.
He hasn't hit 50 yet, so clearly bust, right?
He's a playmaker. I'm sticking to my words. Playmaker. Until he outscores everyone. Everyone. Playmaker.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Either way, it's going to be an exciting ride. Game 7. They're fun.
They're not
Jets
fun.
fans, get ready. They suck. They're the worst. They're the worst.
You know why? Even icings. You're like, come on! Skate! Oh, God, he good. He got it. Good. There's no one even near. I thought, oh, it's a ref. That's how I am in Game 7. So,
I neglect everything, including friendship.
are you talking? Just shut your emotions down.
Oh, you can't.
Sit in a dark room and just be like, okay.
Everything.
It's fine if they lose. They only have to wait a couple months, and then another 7 to get here again. Come on. Like
Wait until that overtime period. Like, if they go to overtime, that is the most stressed you'll ever feel.
I've seen my team lose. I've seen the Flyers lose Game 6 in overtime. It wasn't Game 7. In that Game 6, I was like, I don't think that went in. But then they were like, Patrick can't celebrate a lot. I'm like, nah, I don't think it's in. I think that probably went in. He wouldn't be celebrating like that if that wasn't in.
Well,
yeah,
you know,
I haven't had anything.
At least you had that moment of like doubt that, oh, maybe that didn't go in. No, my Game 7 overtime loss was like, oh no. There's 3 players on the ice and they're all wearing white jerseys. And there's Patrice Bergeron cheering with Brad Marchand. That's great. That's great. Well, fuck sports, am I right?
What we're telling that is, we want Matt to have the other side of this, I think, because we're like, it's a shit! It rips your heart out, and she's never coming back!
I will tell you, from what I remember from being a young buck, watching the Ottawa Senators Toronto Maple Leaf series, those Game 7s, they're fun. They're fun. Because then you just gotta be like, fuck the Sens! And you can be like, fuck the Preds, and it'll be fun.
Or PK Subban. He's made a lot of enemies in the city. A lot of enemies. Matt's shaking his head. Don't go into it. Don't go into it. We know.
Honestly, right now, my pick for Conn Smythe, PK Subban.
Yeah, of course.
I'm just kidding.
Mine's the sniper. Third pairing D-man, Yannick Weber. That's a crazy shot that he had. I was like, what? What's that? Where'd that come from?
Either way, next week, we're going to have conference finals.
Yeah. With Vegas. And someone, but Vegas.
Probably with a lead in the series, most likely.
They're probably on the brink of eliminating whoever they're playing at this point next
Well,
year.
they'll play Saturday and they'll play Monday, so yeah, probably. They'll be up at least 2-0 at that point.
Oh, hey, wait. They don't have home ice?
They don't.
No. That works great for the team who does have home ice. You're in Vegas on a Monday. Damn it. Okay.
Wednesday and Friday.
Game 4 is questionable.
Well, no.
Game 3 is, you're fine. Wednesday,
here's the
no
question.
one's there on Wednesdays.
Do you secretly, play for the sweep? Like, if one team's up 3-0, you're playing in Vegas on a Friday. If you win that game...
No, hockey's not baseball. Hockey's not baseball. Hockey's not baseball. They don't be like, yay, we made it! And then spray champagne because they made playoffs. No,
you just go and party in Vegas for the night. I'm not talking about champagne. I'm saying you go and get fucked up.
I don't. Oh, if you sweep me.
If you sweep,
I don't think they do.
you sweep, I think you just go and
Whichever
have a good time.
team.
I don't think they do.
I think Paul Maurice goes,
Oh.
go have a good time, guys.
Plane leaves at noon tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
That's plane leaves at noon. That's it.
I feel like the Jets would be the one team and be like, no, we're going back to Winnipeg. Just because that's the way they run their franchise. It's just my
they don't
personal
even
thought.
let NHL in the dressing room. Yeah.
But if the Jets, hypothetically, which I hope doesn't happen, if they get swept and it's the end of their season, all the guys will be like, no, we're staying.
I'll find my own ride home.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Hellebuck will be like, wait, hold on. When's the awards? In 31 days. It's fine. I'll stay here. Connor, you okay? It's fine. Leave. Slams the door.
You don't get free hotel if you're not on the team. I'm now a member of the Vegas Golden Knights. I have declared.
Yeah.
What's that?
After the season he's had, I don't think he's too worried
What's
about
the
it.
thing in that movie with Jennifer Lawrence where it's like
Hunger Games.
No, but what's...
I will be tribute.
I tribute the Vegas Golden Knights. And Fleury's like, not on my watch! Pulls out a lightsaber, like, hey, whoa.
And then Marc-Andre Fleury, I'm not letting another young goalie that I'm better than take my spot. Ah!
Pulls out a sword.
Alright.
Paul is like, how did we get here? All right.
I think I ask myself about this podcast every time.
Yeah.
We're an hour and 30 minutes in.
Here we go, longest thing.
So, thank you everyone for listening, whether that be on Podomatic, where you can find us, Last Minute Podcast, wherever you get your podcast, whether that be through the iTunes app or through any app in the Google Play Store. Just type in podcast, download an app, and then check out Last Minute Podcast there. Then you can also listen on YouTube. Last Minute Podcast is how you find us there. We had a few people worried about no videos for a couple weeks. Yeah.
Ryan. So thank you.
Shout out to Ryan if you're here. Let us know. Comment below. If you've made it at any point in this video, anything that you disagree with, agree with, or just want to comment, down below in the comment section on YouTube, or email us at lastminutepodcast@gmail.com, or lastminutepc@gmail.com, or tweet us at lastminutepc on Twitter. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you next week with a more Jets stuff.